Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick. Today we have set number 70903, the Riddler Riddle Racer, which is kind of a mouthful there. The set contains 254 pieces and was released as part of the LEGO Batman movie line from the first half of 2017. And, you know, the box is a box. I do like the glossier design or the glossier style of box. It just feels like a higher quality product, even though in all reality it probably is cheaper, just because, you know, we're on a little bit of a lower budget for the LEGO Batman movie sets, at least it seems. Or, well, not lower budget, but like higher volume, so it seems like they might have put less effort in. Also, the other thing is, I do have a little bit of a box cutter mark on the top of my box. So, you know, that's unfortunate. But what are you going to do? And I did get it on clearance for $17, which I thought was not a bad price for what you get in the set. But, you know, is it worth the full $29.99? The build here is a relatively large-scale car. It's a total of 8 wide, plus a little for the wheels. So probably 10 wide with the wheels added on there. And it is in green and white. The green, you know, works really well for the Riddler. And I like the white stripe going on the side. The side profile, just, you know, I think it just looks good. You know, I mean, the wheels spin, but not as well as I would like. It kind of has a little bit more friction than I'd wished for. You'll notice the back has some exhaust here. That looks good. These, you'll see what those are in a minute. And you can see the engine through a Speed Champion style windscreen, which actually looks pretty good, better than I was expecting, based on the box image. And, you know, just the rest of the shaping around the car is pretty good. You kind of got like a scoop down there, intake into the center, and the windscreen is kind of low down, but it makes for a pretty interesting car build. I think the most interesting build aspect of it is this front section. You'll notice you have one sticker there. You can lift that panel up and it kind of shows these two little guns, or gun barrels. I mean, those are kind of just for show, and, you know, I feel like they could have done something different there, but I like that, you know, it has that one little feature, even if it doesn't really have any actual function. The front lights here are pretty cool. These are made with windows that are just angled downwards, and it has a trans yellow glass pane, which I believe is relatively rare. Also, these hinges in green, the bases, those are pretty rare as well. I think they only appeared in this set and the Hulk brickheads. Unless they appear in a 2018 set that I'm just not familiar with yet. And, you know, I mean, I think that this is a good design for the front and just works pretty well. But the big play feature here is you can just push down right here and it will angle the whole back of the seat upwards. From there, you can push on the ends of these spring-loaded shooters and they'll shoot out pretty nicely. And I think it's at a very good angle for, you know, the like to get a good arc going. I think that, you know, if it went any higher, the arc would kind of, you know, it would kind of just go way up in the sky. If it went any lower, it wouldn't clear it. So it's nice that it stops at a very good point. The Riddler is just attached in there with two studs, and inside, you'll notice he has a stickered control panel, or like speedometer and everything, behind a steering wheel piece, which is, you know, one of the prefabricated pieces. And the back of the seat looks pretty nice. I like the tan color, and you'll notice these tiles down here are completely tan, so when you lift it up, it just looks like, I don't know, maybe there's a little secret compartment back there. It obviously looks better when the seat is down, but it doesn't look awful like that. So I think that the car is a pretty substantial size. It does feel like it's a little bit small in terms of volume of this car for, you know, to be pretty much the only build in a $30 set. So, you know, there's that. But for what it is, it, you know, works pretty well, and I could definitely see paying $20 for a set that's just the Riddler, Batman, and this car. I think that is kind of reasonable. Maybe a little bit on the high side, just a tad, but that's definitely like a set where, you know, if that went 20% off, it would be a good deal. So, you know, $20 would not be unreasonable for, you know, what you see right here. And the only other buildable element is, you know, part of a minifigure, so I figured we'd start with this guy. This is Kite Man, and he has a buildable kite backpack. I think it's really cool that they have this tauntaun bridle piece used as like the handles for the kite, because obviously he'd be flying it like that. So, you know, it's kind of like how we'd hold on. The actual build of the kite pack uses some clipped pieces, so you can angle the wings. It would have been really nice to be able to angle them inwards, so it kind of makes like a, you know, downwards V, kind of like that angle. But I think it's acceptable to leave them like this, you know. I think that it's not too much, or it's not too little done. You kind of got the propulsion on the back, or just lights. I think it's a cool little build, and I think that they did a good job keeping it relatively compact, but still adding in a little bit of posability, and especially this here. It is attached to his neck with a clear visor piece, or a clear piece with studs, not a visor. And underneath all that, you can see some of his, you know, exclusive printing. The torso is a completely brand new design. There's nothing, you know, borrowed about that. It's got the Kite Man logo, kind of, in the chest, in the center, as well as a little belt. The legs have no printing, they're just plain old dark green, so kind of common. The back has a little bit of printing just continuing the belt, which I think is really nice attention to detail. They could have easily gotten away without doing that, because, you know, he has this covering his back. I do find it interesting that they didn't put anything else there, but I appreciate that they at least continued to print the back. The helmet has an exclusive print on it as well, with the Kite Man logo, and that's nice. I like it. And you've got the visor that flips down in trans red, which, you know, Brickset or whatever will tell you that this is a new color for that piece, but it's really just a new element ID. The face print is actually also exclusive. I like his smiling expression a lot, but you do also have this really angry one, which reminds me of Elrond, I think, from The Lord of the Rings, which is kind of funny, but, you know, the smiling face works pretty well, and I think that overall, this figure is pretty well done, but most of the appeal, I think, comes from the brick-built wing pack and tauntaun bridle. I think that gives it most of its visual appeal. But the figures, you know, the figure itself isn't bad. And I would deem these two figures the least interesting of the bunch. It is interesting to see that hairpiece molded in white for Magpie. It's not the most common color, only appearing in 2 sets total, including this one. The other set that it appears in is a set from 2018, so this was the first use of this hairpiece. It also is used for Killer Frost. So yet another DC character. She does come with 2 dynamite pieces. I don't know anything about her powers. I'd never heard of her. I'd heard of Calendar Man and Kite Man, I think, like barely. I mean, I'd recognize the names, but, you know, Magpie, I had no idea who she is. And obviously, you know, their powers are self-explanatory. Hers, not so much. Batman is, you know, one of the standard Batman movie Batmans. I'm not going to bother taking off his utility belt, but, you know, it's got that facial print there. And the back of Magpie, you can see she has back printing, but most of it is obscured by the armor piece. Batman has the back print as well as that alternate facial expression. But upon removing Magpie's exclusive armor piece, which does, by the way, have just a trans red 1x1 round tile on there, and is the same mold as used for the Flying Warrior from Series 15, with the 2 studs on the back. The torso print on her, is good. I like her facial prints as well, though. They're very interesting. It's got the silver kind of eye makeup, and then the 2 red spots on the sides. And the front print, now you can see in its entirety, is, alright. I like this face better, I think, for her. And she does have just a very simple print on the slope, but, that does make it kind of, easily reusable. So overall, these aren't bad figures. Batman's just boring because it appears in a lot of sets. And she's got good prints, she's just, I don't know who the heck she is. But sometimes complete obscurity is what makes these figures incredible, and that is certainly the case for Calendar Man. And, his prints are all pretty good, but I think the highlight is obviously that cape, which, is printed to look like a calendar. It's got the 1 and 31 on the collar piece. The collar and base are separate, but you can see there are numbers printed down each of these 4 sections. You can see them kind of through the back because it kind of bleeds through a little, which I think is a good effect. But we'll remove that in a second. Riddler has a new mold for the top of his staff. That's a weird color. It's like kind of oddly translucent. It's a little bit weird, but I think that it looks super effective and works well. It just attaches to a bar like normal. I'm actually not sure. I don't think you can attach a stud to the end, but it could be possible, kind of. As far as the torso prints go, on the front, they both look pretty good. I mean, I like the little calendar belt, and the question marks that go all over the Riddler are awesome. The hit print on him is good as well. He does have printing on the arms, even, which is just really, really fantastic. This is definitely my favorite version of the Riddler, mainly for that hat/hair combo piece, which just looks incredible, and you got good detail on the back. And the facial print that he gets is good. Calendar Man only has the single side, and the skin tone is a little bit off, but not, super bad. This is the Olympic swimmer's swim cap with just a little calendar kind of printed on there, calendar grid. And his leg print is, alright. It's dual molded, so, there's that. But when we look at these figures from the back, you'll notice Riddler has a good alternate expression and back torso print. And Calendar Man's great printing continues with the, extension of his little belt with numbers all over it, and just a couple creases in the, in the fabric of his shirt, as well as the collar. So if you're looking for a set with fantastic figures for a relatively cheap price, this is the set for you. All of the figures in the set are really well done. Batman is the least desirable, but only because, he's really common. If you don't have any Lego Batman movie figures, he's a great figure. It's just, in every set, pretty much. The Riddler is also fantastic. Best version they've done so far in Lego, I think. At least personally. Maybe you prefer one of the other designs, but this one, I think, just the arm printing and the molded staff, really, and hat piece, actually, really take this one over the top. Calendar Man is just incredible, with that cape and, just the whole design of him. And the whole concept is really, really good. Kite Man, I think, they did a pretty good job with him. I think of the 3, super duper wacky villains, Magpie, Calendar Man, and Kite Man, he's probably the least detailed, but, Magpie is also, I think, just the least appealing based on, the character, because, she just seems a little bit less goofy than the other 2. She's still a really good figure, just, a little bit more boring. Overall, I think that this set is really, just a good set for figures. The build is a little bland, but, when you're getting these fantastic figures, especially if you can find the set on sale, for a large portion of its life, it was available for around $20 or less, including, the way I got it, which was $17. I think at that price, it's really good just for, the car and the Riddler and Batman, and you throw in the extra villain figures. I think it's a really good deal for, $20 or less. So, If you see it at that price, I would definitely recommend it. Even at full price, though, I would recommend this set for, you know, the Calendar Man, Kite Man, and Riddler figures. I think that they're just really, really well done, and if you are a, you know, fan of goofy villains, you're going to love this set. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, let me know in the comment section down below. I will see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.